Kirby is one of Nintendo's most popular franchises. Isn't he adorable? Kirby was created for beginner gamers, but he eventually ended up becoming a staple character for Nintendo and appealing to a wide audience of gamers. But where did this pink puffball come from? The answer may surprise you. That's next on The Gaming Historian.
Kirby is one of the simplest video game characters you will ever find. He's basically a smiley face with arms and legs. Nevertheless, he's still one of Nintendo's most popular franchises, appearing in many different video games, a television show, and even a manga. So let's begin our look at the creation of Kirby.
It began as a blob. It was 1991, and at the young age of 19, Masahiro Sakurai was given the task by his company, HAL Labs, of creating a Game Boy game for beginners that would be easy to complete. Sakurai had his idea in place, but before they could begin graphics and coding for the game, he needed a placeholder graphic for his main character, who he dubbed Popopo. So he drew a blob with 2 eyes and a smile. Over time, Sakurai and the rest of his staff began to grow quite fond of their little blob. It was cute, simple. It seemed perfect in a game for beginners. Sakurai decided to expand on this character. He added 2 arms and 2 legs, and presto, Kirby was born. After the game finished development, HAL Labs took their creation to Nintendo. His name was soon changed from Popopo to Kirby.
So how exactly do you come up with the name Kirby? The most common belief is that Kirby is named after the vacuum cleaner company, Kirby. It would make sense since vacuum cleaners suck, and Kirby's main ability is to suck enemies. Another belief is that Kirby is named after John Kirby, the former lawyer for Nintendo of America that represented Nintendo in many different cases, including the most famous one against Universal Studios over copyright infringement on Donkey Kong. Apparently John Kirby got a copy of Kirby's Adventure in the mail, and he got a good laugh out of it. However, Sakurai is quoted as saying he doesn't quite remember how Kirby got his name.
When Kirby was presented to Nintendo, Shigeru Miyamoto, creator of Mario, wanted Kirby to be yellow. Sakurai, however, intended Kirby to be pink. Sakurai had his wish granted, and the first game, Kirby's Dreamland, known in Japan as Kirby of the Stars, was released. In the first game, however, Kirby lacked the ability to copy enemies. All he could do was suck them in and shoot them out at enemies. The game was relatively easy, but was popular nonetheless. Kirby's Dreamland was in black and white due to being on the Game Boy. Thus, when it was brought to North America, Kirby is depicted as being completely white on the cover. Less than a year later, Kirby's Adventure was released on the NES. This time, he was correctly shown as pink on the North American cover. Kirby's Adventure introduced Kirby's copy ability. Sakurai added this ability to give the more hardcore gamers some gameplay mechanics to mess with, and make the game more challenging. Beginner gamers could still suck up enemies and spit them out as usual as well. Kirby's Adventure was released on May 1st, 1993 in North America. The game really pushed the NES to the limit with its impressive colors, catchy music, and scrolling levels. After the spin-off games Kirby's Pinball Land, Kirby's Avalanche, and Kirby's Dream Course, Nintendo released the finest evolution of the Kirby series, with Kirby's Dreamland 2. It featured new power-ups, puzzle solving, and animal friends to help Kirby out. The game also had increased colors when played on the Super Game Boy. Kirby's Dreamland 2 is my personal favorite in the Kirby series, because growing up, it was probably the #1 game in my Game Boy. It was just that good. I was obsessed with finding every little secret in the game, as well as experimenting with all of the different powers that combined with each animal. Kirby reached a milestone in his career with Kirby Super Star, released on September 20th, 1996 on the Super Nintendo. It featured 9 different games on one cartridge, although the cover says only 8, but there are actually 9, and is widely regarded as the greatest Kirby game of all time. A remake of the game, Kirby Super Star Ultra, is currently being made for the Nintendo DS.
Now I could stand here all day and talk to you to death about all the different Kirby games, but there's just no time for that. Kirby was a success and is now one of Nintendo's most popular franchises, especially on the handhelds. But what happened to Sakurai?
After his success with the Kirby games, Sakurai and HAL Labs created a new game that many people are familiar with, Super Smash Bros., which premiered in 1999 on the Nintendo 64. Sakurai left HAL in August of 2003 and worked with Q Entertainment. This collaboration resulted in Meteos, an addicting puzzle game released in 2005. Sakurai then formed his own company, Sora. He is currently working on new titles since completing Super Smash Bros. Brawl. And to think, he owes all of his success to this little guy. See you next time on The Gaming Historian.